Greetings, Vault Hunters all across the 6 galaxies. Welcome to the Bordercast. We're live at our usual time, 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm Mitsu.
And I'm Tessica, coming to you every week to break down all things Borderlands.
As always, we just wanted to take a very, very quick minute to thank our new listeners on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and those watching right now live on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Steam, or later on the VOD on YouTube. If you are enjoying the program, we would appreciate very much for you to give us a big old like, follow, or favorite, because it's free support. Free, like actually free, like free.
Free's
$3.99. Yes.
Free's pretty cool.
Free is a wonderful amount to spend on supporting, hopefully, your favorite Borderlands channel.
Yes. And we appreciate it so much. Seriously, those of you guys listening, we don't know like who specifically is listening, obviously, but we do know that there are a lot of you. We actually just looked this up recently and found out that there were more, at least I found out that there were more than I expected. And it was really cool. So thank you. Huge thank you. If you like us on iTunes or Spotify or SoundCloud or any of the platforms, that actually helps a lot too for us to get more exposure on those platforms. So super appreciate it. Thank you so much to all of you guys. We try to upload in the best quality for you guys that are audiophiles out there. And yeah, we have some ongoing important info. Gearbox merged with Embracer, which is kind of old news, but kind of not, because it really only just happened a few weeks ago, right? Time goes by.
That's why I leave it in there.
Yeah, time goes by way too quickly when you're having fun, and we've been having a lot of fun speculating about the movie, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Embracer, and so hopefully, and the intention with Embracer is to just literally nitrous the engine and the beautiful vehicle of Gearbox to make it go faster and make all the cool stuff that they're trying to do happen even faster and even better, and it'll be really cool. So that's exciting. Tales from the Borderlands is going to be on Nintendo Switch starting March 24th, which is so soon. That's less than a week.
Next Wednesday, I believe, unless my math is off.
Yeah, that's 6 days. That is so soon. I was actually just telling Mitsu in the pre-show that I have been thinking about getting a Switch because I can't really use a Switch, I don't think, for most things because of my hand issue. I can't use the right thumbstick. I could I don't remember what this grip is called, but there's a grip where you don't hold it like this, but you do this with your hand. I could do that, but I can't really use the thumbstick because it's the thumbstick and my thumb is basically a no-go. So I've basically been thinking about getting a Switch for like a year for Borderlands on the Switch and for a couple other things. And I feel like I'm like this close to just buying it and seeing if I can maybe get away with playing some, at least Tales, because I love Tales. And then also just giving it to my significant other who's amazing and has working hands. So I don't know. It might happen. But yeah.
You might be able to get away with playing Tales. It's not like there's a lot of ultra mega fast action going on.
There are QTEs though.
There are, but what you could do is, and I'm doing a thing for the visuals. You could take two fingers like this and hold the thumbstick in between like that and use it like this, like move to the left, to the right, up, down, and just like do it that way, because it's not like you're running around and you need to hold onto your thumbstick the whole time. You could put it flat down on like a surface and then play it that way until the QTE is over, and then you could pick it up back up again and then do it that way.
Stupid question for those people that use the Switch, but could you take the controllers off and use them like with the opposite hand or something if you wanted?
I mean, absolutely, you absolutely could. It's the Switch. So the controller, the Joy-Cons, you can take them off. You can snap them right back on the handheld mode. Then there's the thing that you can put them into so you can hold it like an actual controller. But if you want, you can play games with them completely separated, both from any of that stuff and the system and each other.
Huh.
So you could just have one floating off in the ether, and then you could just like have the other one over here, and you could just like play with them all the way out in space as far as your arms can go apart if you wanted to.
Okay, so it would be really funny, but what I really could do is just I hold one and Rob holds the other one, yes. The one that I can't use.
Yes. So, you know what? It's so way back in the day in GoldenEye, there actually was a control scheme where you could play one like solo player with 2 controllers. Some people had the ability to move, like go forward and backwards. The other person had the ability to control the look. One person could control the shooting. The other person could control the weapon swaps. I never did it because it sounded like an awful idea, but there is a precedent here for playing a solo player game with 2 people.
I mean, we've done it before. There was a game, I think it was for PlayStation, that I was trying to play it for charity, and I was playing with my friend Kung Fu Fruit Cup, who's amazing at like all console things. She's amazing at everything, but especially console games. It was a really cute game, and it didn't occur to me because I have an adapter for the PlayStation that I would have an issue. But there was like there was like a specific movement you had to do with a vehicle that I just I couldn't do it. I tried and then I cried and then I was like, I'm so sorry, this is for charity and I can't do it. And we were racing too. It was a thing. And so chat was like, get Rob to do it. It's okay. It's fine. It counts. And I was like, babe, please. And he did. He got me through the part. It was funny. So we collectively did it for charity. It was fine. So we could play together on the Switch. Okay, total tangent. I'm really sorry, but
no, that's okay. Each part of a Switch is an individual controller. So even if you play with like the little guy like this, like that's how you play Mario Party. You play with the little guy here. Obviously, if you're playing Borderlands, it doesn't like if you're like Borderlands, not like you have to actually have a full controller for that. But there are games out there that you might be able to enjoy a little bit more that only require, one thumb being able to do something. And one of them has the thumbstick in a spot where it might be easier for your other thumb.
Yeah.
And then you could just swap it like that and have the buttons maybe do it that way if it's easier for you. I don't know.
There is an adapter for the Switch that exists. I think there are actually a few, but there's one specific one that I don't remember the name of. But one of my viewers in my community recommended it to me. It's a kind of expensive, which is why I was like, it doesn't make sense when I have a beautiful PC from AMD and a PlayStation and all this other stuff to like, you know what I mean? Buy another thing, but I might do it because I don't know. There's a bunch of reasons why I want to, but Borderlands is available on VR, Oxen. Yes, somebody in chat just asked. So Borderlands 2 is available for VR. It does include the DLC, and it has like a special mode for the VR, or a special ability, I guess you could say, that allows you to slow down time. It's really good. I've actually played it live on the Borderlands channel a bunch, and I'm getting ready to post like an entire playthrough on my YouTube because my YouTube has been a dead sea of nothingness for several years, and I would like to put some Borderlands content on it to enliven it. But I'm actually going to be streaming some of that content too. I've been unable to stream on the Borderlands channel as much as I normally would because of some health surgery things that have been going on. They're almost done. And then I'll be able to like stream more again. And so I'm going to be finishing the playthrough. What I'll probably end up doing is just like broadcasting the video and talking to you guys while I'm broadcasting the video, because a lot of it's already recorded. Not all of it. I haven't quite finished it. So I'll probably finish it live on the Borderlands channel, and that'll be a good time. Sometime in the next like month or so, probably, or a couple months after DLC.
Yeah, which people are asking about. Yes, unfortunately, DLC 6, the director's cut, has been pushed back. It was pushed back, we announced this last week, to April 8th. And a large part of the reason that was the case is because of the storms that were rampaging through Texas in the late February, early March area. When you're working from home and then your home explodes on you basically with cold and water and awfulness, and everything just gets soaked and destroyed, it's pretty understandable why this happened. And it sucks, but it's not like it's being canceled. It's just a slight delay.
Yeah, and honestly, like everybody at Gearbox is my hero. They're my heroes. They really are. They have overcome so much over the last like year and a half. It's just been crazy, and they just keep coming through and keep pushing out amazing content and keep fixing and keep putting out new crazy things. I super agree. Beck Karma in chat's like, it's a good decision, and I super agree with that. I think it's a good decision to delay it because it'll be in a much more perfect state. Maybe it won't be perfect, but hopefully it will be, and it'll definitely be much more finished and much more ready. Like, it's much better to wait and do the work that you've been trying to do, even if it takes you more time, than to just rush something out. I think we've seen that, in the history of video games, in the history of my life for sure. When I rush, just doing my makeup, okay? If I rush my makeup, you guys, I'll have eyeliner on my ears. Seriously, it's bad. So, if I take
That'd be
my
really funny,
time,
actually. I would want to see that.
it's happened. There was a cat involved, but it has happened, and it was because I was in a hurry. And yeah, so it's better if you just breathe and take your time, and it'll be a much better end result. And I'm so excited for this DLC. I know Mitsu is too. I know you guys are too. Of course, it was Gingy rushed. Yeah, but Gingy is my little monster cat who is currently asleep, thankfully, while we do this. For now.
Yes.
But, yeah, it's better to take your time with something that's important and make sure that it's at the highest level of quality you could possibly make it, and then put it out, in my personal opinion. And so I'm totally fine with a delay. It's just going to be awesome when it gets here.
I think it's very fair. Borderlands movie. It is happening once again. And once again, we find that there is a new challenger approaching on the scene. Who and why? Some of you may know, others may not. We will find out more about that in just a little bit, because it does spark a very interesting conversation to have as to more of the why. We're going to have to discuss it. That's kind of where we're at right now. And finally, for our ongoing news portion of the show, Borderlands is on sale on Steam right now. Borderlands 3, the Ultimate Edition, is 50% off. And there are discounts all the way down. The add-ons are all at 1/3 price. Tales from the Borderlands is 25% off right now. Borderlands 2 is 78% off for the Game of the Year edition. That's a steal. That's an actual steal. The Psycho Pack and the Necromancer Pack, so you can play as Krieg and Gage in Borderlands 2, are all 67% off. All of the add-ons as individuals are also 67% off. The Headhunter packs are 70% off. If you were looking to get maybe one or two of the Headhunter packs in Borderlands 2, if you haven't played them yet, my recommendations would be, if you could only get one or two, Son of Cromarax, because Cromarax returns from Borderlands 1, or at least his son does, and Mercenary Day, because Sir Tinder von Snowflake is a very, very fun boss. So I would recommend that. Borderlands Classic, 67% off for the Game of the Year Enhanced Edition, which has 4K. The pre-sequel, 70% off. The Handsome Collection, 75% off. So there are lots of deals. Take advantage of them if you haven't already. I know a lot of people have said, oh, Mitsu, I haven't bought any of the DLCs for Borderlands 3 yet. They're all 34% off right now. This is your chance to pick up one or more of them. The season pass as a whole is 50% off. What do you want? How hard do I need to sell you guys on this thing if you don't already have it? You're getting this deal, because all of the DLCs are very much worth it for Borderlands 3. So take advantage of it while you can. I believe this sale ends, I want to say, makes sense.
Yeah.
They will end April 2nd.
Okay.
April 2nd.
That
I'm just
sort of
I'm processing that date real quick, and because what's the day before?
Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense.
You'd have to be a fool not to take advantage of those discounts. That's good, right? That's good. I got it. I made that work.
That is good. I actually feel like it's really funny. Okay, so another total tangent. I'm a tangent girl today. Tess the tangent girl. April Fool's is like a weird holiday. It's a holiday. like things happen and people celebrate it, and like it's just crazy. It's a thing that happens, and it's hilarious. And yeah.
Indeed. So, moving forward with that, let's open the floor. What did you do, Tess, this past week in Borderlands?
I mostly have just been playing a little bit of the VR. I'm still recovering from the last surgery. Yeah, so I just talking is harder. Like I can talk for a little bit. I can talk. I do a lot of like role play shows too, right. Not a lot, but I do role play shows, and those are kind of longer, like three hour or so sessions. But I'm not the only one talking, so it's just like a little bit. And then I get to be quiet for like an hour, and then a little bit, and then I get to be quiet for like an hour. So those are fine. Bordercast is fine because an hour and a half, and it's my main thing, so it's fine. But like streaming for 3 or 4 or more hours is definitely a little bit tough. That's why my streams over the last 2 months have mostly been VR stuff, because I can kind of get away with just playing and being active. I'm still talking a lot during those, but there haven't been as many, right? So the VR stuff that I've been recording, Borderlands 2 VR, is all like I'm not really recording me talking, just a little bit, but it's mostly just like me responding to the characters because I'm so used to it and I can't help myself. But I'm trying actually not to talk so that I can do voiceover later. That's kind of also why it's taking a while to post all this stuff up, because I want to finish the playthrough and then do voiceover for all of it. On my very nice microphone. So yeah, that's basically why I haven't been streaming as much. But I'll get back to that soon. But I have been recording. And it's honestly like playing Borderlands 2 VR. I know I talk about it all the time, but it's so fun. It's so immersive. And I mean, they were one of the first companies to actually port a AAA game onto VR. And I honestly feel like they did a really, really good job. They accommodate all of the different modes of transportation. Like you can teleport, which is really nice so you don't get nauseous. If you have room scale, you can actually walk around by using the like follow your direction, like your look direction control scheme. That works really well if you have room scale because you can actually move, and it's just cool. Like it's just really cool to be in the world of the Borderlands in Pandora and have like a giant bullymong jump down on top of you and try to eat your face. Like actually, it's so cool. So I've been having a lot of fun with that. What about you, Mitsu? What were you up to this past week?
Did you know what yesterday was?
Oh, right. St. Patrick's Day. That other holiday that I keep forgetting about.
It was. Yeah. So all my life, I've been adopted. I didn't really know a lot about my heritage. Finally, I talked with my biological mother a few weeks back, and she's like, by the way, did you know you're very Irish? I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea. So I guess this is a international holiday. Is that what they call it? And I had a really fun experience where I went into town, right? And this does relate to Borderlands, I promise. I went into town and I went to a brewery because that's what you do at noon. You go and start drinking on St. Patrick's Day. Not heavy drinking, just I've never been to this one in town. I wanted to go check it out. And the owner happens to play Borderlands, and he knows of Twitch, and he knows of several other games. He knows of our friend King Gathalion and teammate Eddie Monster and like all of these people. And he's like, wait, you're Mitsu? Wait, I know that name. And so it was really cool to walk into this. And there's no food. There's just a bunch of seating, indoor and outdoor, and just giant tanks of beer being brewed all the time. It was so cool. So I had a lot of fun getting to know everything. Yeah. And of course, that segues into going home, and my wife, Brofish, we decided we wanted to play Borderlands, and we were going to start new characters. And at first I was like, oh, well, I haven't played Amara in forever. Maybe I'll play Amara. She's like, oh, well, maybe I'll play this. I'll play that. I go, okay. And then at some point she goes, wait, hold on. It's St. Patrick's Day. What character are you going to pick on St. Patrick's Day?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You think of it at first, and then you go, oh, wait, okay.
Yeah, you kind of have to. Yes. Yeah, our favorite Irish badass, Zane. I didn't even think about that. Oh man, that is very appropriate and very cool. So I hope you guys had a good time with that. Did you both choose Zane, or was it just you?
We did. We both
You
went
both
Zane.
did. Nice.
And you know what I forgot? I had forgotten that the customizability of your character creation is very in depth in Borderlands 3 when it comes to the color of any skins that you choose to put on your characters. So my wife puts together a Zane that is all green, and she nailed the ginger hair and beard.
Nice.
So he really looked about as Irish as you possibly could make somebody in Borderlands 3. And it was fun. We ran around for a while. We had a lot of good conversations. Quag and Scarlet Rose Blossom were generous enough to or Bloom were generous enough to raid me. I think Char, our fellow teammate, raided Brofish.
Nice.
So it was really cool. It was really cool to be, on the ground floor of the grassroots of the community again, kind of hang out with everybody, because it's been so long since I played Borderlands on my channel personally.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you feel so removed from the process, especially with what we're doing. I know you're always busy editing. I'm always busy writing. We have to aggregate all of the news, everything that we possibly can. So it's nice to take a pause from all that and get back to the basics of how all of this started in the first place.
Yeah, I super agree with that. Also, can I please request Brofish Zane screenshot somewhere on Twitter or something? I just need to see this.
It's a good point. You know what? I know she's live right now doing her thing, but I will ask her after she is done to pop in Borderlands real quick and get a screenshot. She can use screenshot mode, which I don't, as an aside, I don't know if any of you know this. You know this, Tess, because you are the artsy type. The screenshot mode in Borderlands 3 is so good.
It is.
There's like 12 or 15 different filters. You can set, what is it, the vignette settings to it, so you can even have it have like the dark sides to it to make it even look like it's more focused on something. You can change so many different colors, so many different aspects of it. You can go back a little bit in time. So if there's a moment that just happened, if you pause very quickly, you can kind of scroll, like roll it back right to the moment. So there's like a big explosion. You get it right when it pops. And then you obviously it's a 3-dimensional camera too, so you can move all the way around. You can, change your axes and get the shot that you want. It's so much fun to use. And if you have not taken advantage of it yet, and you are a fan of like making art in video games, because some people are, do it. Go try it out. It's fun. Even somebody who can't even draw stick figures properly because they look like they have broken backs, I have fun with this now and again.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I've seen some of your screenshots. They're pretty great. You don't give yourself enough credit. But yeah, like it's how a lot of us make our like thumbnails and art for our videos and our streams and things like that. Also, it's an amazing source for really gorgeous like wallpaper for your desktop monitors. Really, 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 really beautiful, and it's cool. It's just really cool. Like you can see the world that your Vault Hunter is in from like a third person perspective, from the side, from the front, from whatever. You can fly all around him and take all kinds of cool pictures. It's really neat. So definitely recommend.
Yeah. So I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Moving forward, there is even more movie news. I'm genuinely surprised that every single time I think we're done, there's a little bit more. I will say this much: this came as a bit of a shock to me, this particular announcement, because it's not Mordecai, it's not Brick, it's not Helena Pierce. We have no idea who specifically is being cast for here. So Haley Bennett is being brought on board Eli Roth's Borderlands movie, right? And apparently Bennett will play a key to the past of Kate Blanchett's character, Lilith. That is all we honestly know. They like that's it. I'm like, why what significance does this character have that the Hollywood Reporter went out of their way to write this article, which has almost no information in it whatsoever? You don't do that if the character is a small role. You do that if it's a very significant plot point character in this movie. So
you're saying they know and they're just not telling. Oh,
yes, or they might not know. They might have just heard, oh yeah, she's on set hanging around.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tess? What do you think? Who is Haley Bennett going to play?
I mean, okay, so if they say important character from Lilith's past,
Yes,
I feel like that's somebody we haven't met in the Borderlands franchise yet, at least that I know of. Like maybe I don't know. It's just the way that they phrase it, where it's very non-specific. I would guess that it's not somebody that we've ever seen before, right? So maybe it's like a sister or a cousin or her mom or something. You know what I mean? Like in a flashback, or maybe it's her in a flashback. Who knows? Maybe it's the siren that Lilith got her powers from.
that's possible.
Yeah. Also in a flashback, obviously. You know, like it could be so cool. It could be any of a number of things. I think I like the theory of a siren that she got her powers from. I don't know if that would be Steel, because we don't really know what Steel's powers were. Right? But
Really don't.
I mean, yeah, it could be Steel. She's blonde, but like, okay, with Hollywood, literally, you could have any hair color and have any hair color and have any hair color. So yeah, they can do a lot of really, really cool magical things. So I don't think we should go by that necessarily. I like the idea of getting to meet the siren that had those powers before. I'm super curious about the history of sirens in general, so that's kind of my favorite theory. But I don't know. It could be so many things. Either way, she's a great actress, and it'll be cool to see what she does with it.
You know, I'm thinking of like the MCU, and I'll say this much: I'm a little sad because we don't know if the Borderlands movie is it its own universe? Is it canon? They haven't really made a decision about that yet. But one of the things that, you know, Disney has done, for example, is they have taken what it means to be in the Star Wars universe, in the MCU, and made it almost, you know, a universal multimedia conglomerate project. Star Wars especially. Everything that exists in the Star Wars universe now is canon to Star Wars. And that even means the video games at this point all are canon. All the ones released after a certain point, which is super cool. And for me, this Borderlands as a movie would be a great opportunity to do exactly what you would want to see, Tess. You want to see more information about the backstory of the sirens, right?
Yeah.
I want that too. I think a lot of people out there are really interested and intrigued by the story of how the sirens came to be, what kind of contributions they had for the galaxies at large, what their connection to the Iridians are. There's a lot to put together there, and doing it in a movie is great. However, unless the movie is canon, it's just an alternate universe telling of something. So we can say like, oh, maybe there are some inspirations to be drawn from here, but then at the same time, somebody can say, oh no, that's in the movie, that doesn't count. That's a different universe. That's not the real thing that's going on right now. So I want to see it like blessed into canon. I want to even if it means we're retconning a little bit of classic original Borderlands 1 to do it. I would like to see more information that informs how the future of the franchise goes for the games and other media projects that they might undertake in time. Maybe they want to do a Netflix series. I don't know. That'd be cool. Call it Sirens. And it'll be about this. Yeah, I just saw.
Oh my God, please.
Idea,
please, can we have that? Please. Seriously, like anybody out there listening, can we please have a Sirens TV show?
So the idea would be it takes place thousands, if not millions of years before the events of Borderlands 1. And it tells the history of like 6 sirens going around doing siren things in the Iridian times.
Yeah, and maybe we learn about the 7th siren and like like what happened there. Oh, that would be so cool. Oh my god. So I love movies. I love Hollywood. I love everything about all that stuff. But I have to be honest, and obviously it's also Hollywood, but I love TV shows more than I love films, like individual films, unless they're trilogies. But even better than trilogies, I like TV shows because I just like longer form story. Like I like to hang out with the characters that I fall in love with. So the more time I get to spend on a semi-regular basis, sometimes I'll binge a show, but you know what I mean? Like the more you get more time out of a TV show than you do, and you get more information, you get more, like I like series of books for the same reason, right? You get to know characters and you get to know the world that they live in to such greater detail if you are watching like a long form piece of content, right? And so I just really I love TV shows so much. They're like my favorite thing. So having like a bunch of really cool sirens and a TV show about them and their lives and like all the crazy stuff they go through and all of the cool characters that could hang out with them, like that would be incredible. Just imagine, obviously it wouldn't be Maya and Krieg, but like imagine a Maya and Krieg in olden siren times. How cool would that be to see? It would just be, please. Seriously, Mitsu, you're a genius, and I hope somebody is out there listening.
I just tweeted it, by the way. I just tweeted it right now, and I even tagged Randy in the tweet.
Oh my
I was
god,
like,
yes.
Randy, here's the idea. Sirens, a Netflix, but I put in parentheses a question mark because you could put it on Hulu, you can put it on really anywhere where somebody wants to buy it. And it's a series that would cover the adventures of the sirens during the time of Viridians in the Borderlands universe. Boom. Easy pitch. That would be a great show. Will it ever happen? I'm never going to say never, but the odds of it, of course, are extremely tiny. But I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Especially Borderlands continues to grow, right? Borderlands continues to become this billion-dollar franchise, as it was announced, I think, a year or so ago now. So the Borderlands name has a lot of value and weight to it, and it would be nice to see them expand outside of just video games. Not that there's anything wrong with video games. I love playing video games. But I think that there is room now for, they've already done comics. They've been Borderlands comics before. So they've explored that medium. They're doing the movie. TV would be the next idea, or streaming services. You just want to call it streaming services now. That's probably the better way to look at it.
Yeah, fair.
So like they're I don't know. And have it, if it's not maybe canon with the games, at least have it canon with the movies.
God, that would be so cool. It would just, oh wow, I can't even. I'm just excited. I'm excited for the very possibility. It's amazing.
It's a wonderful idea, but wow, we have show notes and things like that every show. I didn't plan that.
Yeah.
That was just an idea that just happened right now while we were in the middle of doing this
Such a
show.
good one.
Yeah, I did not expect that, but I will take it. So getting back to Haley Bennett, I think I know a lot of people suggest, oh, well, she's going to be this character who's going to maybe give Lilith her siren powers, so that's how it's going to be passed on to her. I think that's one interesting theory. Another is it could be a sister of Lilith. Maybe something happens and that's what awakens. Maybe Haley Bennett's character dies and Lilith, like little Lilith, sees it, and that's what awakens her siren powers and kind of sets her on this journey of, okay, well, now I'm going to go do badass things in honor of my sister and maybe track down whoever murdered her or something like that. Maybe it's like a psycho kills her sister or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was my next thought, like with sister, because Lilith was so surprised. Bad Karma, I believe, brought this up in chat. Lilith was so surprised that Maya knew who her powers were going to go to, right?
She did. And I'm still kind of confused as to how she knew, but she knew somehow.
Yeah. I mean, Maya has always been kind of like super in touch with the mystical side of it, kind of. Not mystical, really, but the historical side of it. I don't know what the right word is for this. She's had like a deeper, more kind of knowledge focused perspective, and she's always wanted to learn more, and she's always had this book, and I feel like it makes sense for her to be the one that would have this feeling and would have this information. And we've learned more. Like if you play DLC 4 and if you kind of did all of the found all the echo logs even in the base game, you'd know that Maya knew that Ava was going to be the next one that she would pass her powers to, but she also knew that like a part of her would live on in Ava, that she would feel like, because she herself felt other sirens within her once she got her powers. So she knew that Ava would feel that. She knew that Ava would have a part of her inside her. And she also shared it with Krieg, which is really, really, really awesome. But like, it's just, I don't know, there's so much more to it, and I want to know more. I want more. Yeah. More sirens. More better. Please.
I wish there was a little bit more that we could explore. I'm still sad about this in Borderlands 3. I would have loved to explore more of what it meant for Troy to be a siren. You know what I mean? Because obviously sirens are all female. Troy being the exception, and yes, he's a conjoined twin, but it raises a lot of interesting questions and theories about how he was still able to have those powers despite the fact that he's not really a true siren. Air quotes there. So I just wish we had more time. I think, and this again goes back to the other thing that we've talked about, having a game that goes back and explores more of the personality of Troy and Tyreen when they were younger. Because obviously we can go no further because they're dead now. So we have to go back instead. Or if you want, you will not like this idea. Now I'm just coming up with an idea again. You will not like this idea, Tess.
We'll see.
What if it was a game that you played as Troy and Tyreen? See, immediately right there. And it's them going around the 6 galaxies recruiting for the Children of the Vault. It's a bad guy game. They don't have too many of those, but bad guy games are good.
There are better bad guys, okay?
There are better bad guys, but this is a really good way to explore more about them, and then
I don't want to explore. Okay, so I understand. You don't want to. But like, I would much rather play as Rose, for example, who's an actual badass and interesting and strong and not a whiny baby that's way more annoying than Ava ever could possibly be. Yeah, so
which is fine, but Rose, like, there isn't a lot established because Rose is kind of a side. She's the main character, but she's in a DLC. She's not the main focus of the storyline of Borderlands. It's like, I would love to play something where you get to hang out with Captain Scarlet. I think we've talked about this too. I would love to see Rose and Captain Scarlet go around and have buddy cop adventures, you know, creating mischief all around the Borderlands, doing something like that too, because they're both great characters and they're both snarky and snipey and fun to interact with when we do. And then they both sneak away, so they're still out there somewhere.
I feel like if there was a Troy and Tyreen game, they would have to drastically change, or like they would have to show her character in a completely different perspective before she became this way. But like, that doesn't really work. She was always this way, you know. She was always a butthole. She was always a selfish, annoying little butthole. No, and so like, I don't have, even though Troy was actually the one that killed Maya, I have way less against Troy than I do against Tyreen. I feel like as a siren, as a female character, maybe it's because I identify with her a little bit more, because I'm a girl and I grew up with my family and my dad in particular being extremely overprotective, like extremely overprotective. The only daughter of a Russian dude that moved from Russia to the US. So like, trust me when I say overprotected, I know what that feels like. And like limited in a lot of ways that were unfortunate growing up. And so I identify with her, and like, it just makes me, it makes me so angry that she became this horrible, like totally selfish, totally annoying and whiny and just horrible thing, right? Whereas like Angel, who was also literally trapped inside a bubble from a very young age by her dad, was such a good character, such a role model. You know what I mean? And it was just like, yeah, so I have zero patience and zero care for Tyrene. Like, she just annoys me. Troy is interesting because he wasn't like that. He didn't like there were a couple of echoes that you find on Necrotafeo where he pushed back against what she was trying to do a little bit, but then he kind of just because and I'm not saying this to like assuage his guilt. He's guilty of sin too. He's horrible too. But he's less annoying to me because I don't identify with him, right? So I don't, and I understand being under someone's boot like that, kind of. But with her, I just have zero sympathy because, like, I myself identify with that experience of being overprotected and being stuck inside someone else's bubble, you know, and etc. And I feel like, you know, I dealt with it and I'm okay. I hope. And I feel like Angel dealt with it so well and became this like paragon of amazingness. And I mean, there's so many examples of this in the world, like lots and lots of people and women that have overcome kind of being stuck in a place where they weren't happy, where they were limited, and they overcame that to do amazing things and be strong within themselves. And she's like the antithesis of what I admire about women. And so, yeah, I just don't like her and don't have any sympathy for her. Yeah. Sorry. I'm sorry. I'd rather learn about Typhon and Lita. I'd love to get to know Lita.
Well, yes. I mean, wouldn't we all? I say that, but not everybody actually liked Typhon de Leon, which shocked me. Some people just, I mean, I get it. He's different. So I could see him coming off as a bit annoying for certain people. So moving forward in our final segment today, news has been a little slow this week in Borderlands, and that's okay. Not every day can be like last week, which was absolutely insane. Which is why I always title shows in the script. Last week's was from 0 to 60 because that's what it felt like, because we went from no news to having all of the news ever, and this week it feels like going from 60 to 0. So what we wanted to do, and we haven't done this in some time, is we wanted to turn things over a little bit to all of you who are watching live today. We wanted to just have a conversation with everybody. I'm watching the YouTube chat right now. I've been engaging with them a little bit, poking the bear sometimes. I'm watching, of course, over on the Borderlands chat for Twitch as well. I might even open up Facebook. You know, Facebook occasionally they have some fun stuff to talk about too. So we want to hear from you guys for once. We want to hear
see you, awesome
your thoughts.
Facebook people. There's like over 100 of you guys. You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And we want to know, like, what let's start with an easy thing to talk about. What do all of you at this point think of the Borderlands movie? I think it's a good jumping off point because at this point I've found it's very back and forth. Some people are very excited for it. Some people feel it's not going to stick the landing as well as they are hoping for. So I want to know what everybody is thinking of when it comes to the movie. Great actors, weird choices, for example, is something that Don Riccardi says. They are great actors, all of them. If you look at the storied history, all of them have. I mean, the person playing Krieg, Florian, he was in Creed 2, and that movie was phenomenal. And but actually, you want to talk about redemption stories for characters that you may or may not like? Ivan Drago from Rocky 4, they painted him in a whole new light because everybody just hated, you know, Ivan Drago. So obviously, he's the big Russian guy who goes in there and just like punches Apollo Creed so hard that he actually dies. So you see like, oh, well, the Russians abandoned him, and then he's trying to build his son up so that he can have prestige in Russia again, and then that doesn't work because he loses to Creed's son, Adonis. Spoilers, it's a good movie. You should watch it. That's what I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. Somebody in chat was asking about Kevin Hart's height. Okay, so first of all, they can do things with film that are insane. Like, this is a funny side note, but my better half, Rob, and I, we watch a lot of TV shows. We watch a lot of series. Like I said, I really like them. And I could immediately tell when a woman is pregnant and they're shooting around her pregnancy. Like I could just tell. And it's really funny because it always comes up and I'm like, and he knows the face that I'm making when I can tell. It's really funny. But they can do magical things, and yeah, it's really weird. I don't know why I just always can tell. But because they shoot the girl differently, right? But like I remember rewatching a series that I had watched in the past of when I was like younger, and I had no idea back then, like zero clue. And I watch it now, and I'm like, how did I not see this back then? But I had no idea because I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't paying attention to it. I think just, I don't know, as you get older, you notice more things, or maybe, I don't know, maybe people around me have been like family members who've gotten pregnant. So I just noticed it more. But anyway, same thing with height. Like there are so many things they could do with camera positioning, first of all. Second of all, I feel for Kevin Hart. I feel for him because I feel like people are so expecting him to do a bad job for a million different reasons. His height, the fact that he's comedic, the fact, like a billion different reasons. And it's super unfair because, first of all, it's much harder to do comedy, in my opinion, than it is to do drama. If you like if you have good comedic timing and you have a good understanding of what's funny and you can make that happen with your face and your mannerisms and, act that out in a way that actually makes people feel laughter, you could do drama easy, like so easy. So, I feel like people are just going to be poop about it until they see him in action, and then they'll be wowed, I hope, because they'll hopefully have at least a little bit of an open mind. I worry about the people that are like, no, he's bad, and they're still going to say, no, he's bad even after. But I think he's going to be an incredible, incredible Roland. And if I was going to bet money on it, I would say he's going to be an incredible Roland. And yes. I have similar faith in all the other actors and actresses because these are talented people that they're choosing, and they would never I feel like Gearbox, this is their baby, right? They want to make sure that it's good, and everybody involved so far cares about it and wants it to be a good, fun time for all of us as fans, and also for just people that have never heard of Borderlands that might get into the game because of it. So have a little faith and have a little bit of an open mind. That would be my message to anybody that's doubting any of the castings. And in terms of not getting your hopes up, I super get that. Super 100% with you on that. I am like that about video games. I don't want to get so hyped that the reality of the thing cannot live up to what I've built up in my head, right? And my heart, because that just hurts. So just cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
And open-minded.
Zethurix in the Twitch chat has a good point here. And this goes from the reverse angle. Everybody complains that Kevin Hart is too short. Not everybody, but there are people out there who say he's too short. But if you remember the X-Men movies, Wolverine canonically is 5 feet tall. He's that's why they call him Wolverine, because he's this stout, gruff, buff guy. But he's Wolverines are tiny little things. They, are vicious. Bite your face off. Hugh Jackman's 6'1". 6'1", 6'2". Oh, and if you didn't know, he can sing. Boy, can he sing.
I didn't know that. Cool.
What, Hugh Jackman?
Yeah, I had no idea.
Dude, Hugh Jackman can dance and he can sing. Watch The Greatest Showman. It is so good.
Wait, Wolverine is supposed to be 5'3"?
Oh, okay, 5'3". But Wolverine is very, cool. Very short. He's very, very short, all things considered. However, when everybody saw Hugh Jackman play Wolverine in the X-Men movies, everybody was like, we want him to be Wolverine from now until the end of time. There are still people screaming for him to be in the MCU now that they've been bought out and you can combine the two. So what I'm trying to say in this case is it comes from unexpected places. like, yeah, Kevin Hart, it's going to look a little ridiculous at first if that's the idea and the image you have in your head. But one of the great things about being a really talented actor, and I know there's a debate about that when it comes to Kevin Hart too, that's a completely different debate, sure. One of the great things about being a good actor is the suspension of disbelief. If he nails this role, you will not notice how tall or how short he is. You will be convinced that the person you are looking at on the screen in that moment, even though your brain knows it's Kevin Hart, is Roland. That is what should be the determining factor of whether or not he nailed the role. If he makes you think that that is really Roland, that's the standard of metric to figure out this entire movie. And that applies for everybody in the movie too. If you look at Cate Blanchett and you go, that's Lilith, she did a great job. That's what I'm waiting to see for now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I have faith. I have faith for some reason. I know why, because Gearbox and 2K have proven themselves over the last few years to me, like since they announced Borderlands 3, right? Everything that's come out, everything that they've gone through, all of the ways that they've overcome, even things that happen in the main game with Maya, who is literally, I say this all the time, but she's literally my favorite character in fiction. I adore her. So, I mean, they've like come through. If you watched my playthrough of the DLC 4, I literally cried so many times. There were so many devs in my chat. I streamed it on my channel on Twitch, and like they were just watching, and they were just like so encouraging and so happy that I was enjoying it so much, because I was gonna stream. So I have a hard time doing really long streams these days. I used to do a lot of long streams, but because my hand and various things, it's just hard. I streamed for 12 hours. I streamed it until I finished it, and I took my time with it, and it was just so good, and it made me feel so happy about just the story and how like she's still alive in Krieg's mind and they're together, and it just like it filled all the holes for me in the best possible way. And so I just feel like along with that, in every way, they've delivered on so many promises, on every promise that they've made, actually. Like they've never promised something and not delivered. They've never said, oh, we're going to do this, and it's not been awesome. Like sometimes there are some stumbles, obviously, along the way because, hey, COVID, and also just development is hard. Development of video games is so hard. I don't think we had a clue before we started working on the Bordercast, like how hard it actually is. Having this dialogue with the devs and these conversations between you guys, the community, and the devs has helped us to understand. But even now, I feel like we don't know. We definitely don't know everything. We don't know the half of it. But we know enough to know it's a lot harder than you'd expect. And it's just, they've come through. They've come through all of that, and they've always delivered. And so, like, I just have faith that it'll be a fun time. I don't think it's going to be like the movie to end all movies. You know what I mean? Because I mean, there's like, it's subjective. Some people like the really cool, like indie Sundancey documentaries or whatever, and other people really like, MCU and action movies. I think it's a lean more towards the action movie fun time kind of thing. But I just feel like it's going to be fun, and it's going to be good, and it's going to be quintessentially Borderlands, because everything Borderlands is. So I'm excited.
Switching gears real quick over in the YouTube chat. I know this is a little off topic, which there is no off topic right now because we're looking for feedback from everybody across all the channels. I like your idea about the Typhon de Leon platformer, Mitsu, but personally, I would like to see a full-on prequel with Typhon de Leon and 4 other Vault Hunters. So, would that be a wonderful idea? Yes. Because it's always fun to play, a full-out Borderlands game. The reason that I am hesitant towards doing that in this case is because I would like to see something new and genre bending out of Gearbox as it pertains to Borderlands. We already know that there are going to be Borderlands games upon Borderlands games, classic mainline first person shooter, looter shooter Borderlands games from now until the end of time, right?
We hope. We
I mean,
damn well hope.
okay, I use the term no here only from a perspective of when you have $1 billion franchise, if you don't make another one, you're leaving money on the table. Do I actually know? Does Tess actually know? No, we don't know. But there's no, but we really hope. But there's no part of my mind where it's like, wow, they're going to make another one, right? There's still a question mark at the end, but it's like, that's the logical deduction. But I would like to see them do more with Borderlands. There are more ways to tell the story. There are more ways to convey really cool gameplay, and having Typhon go around on a using a whip to platform around and explore the vaults in a new way that we've never done before. It's like Tales from the Borderlands. Is Tales from the Borderlands a mainline Borderlands game in terms of the lore? Yes. But is it a first-person shooter? No. It's a role-playing game. It's a choose-your-own-adventure almost in some respects. So, I know we want to see Typhon do cool things. I think because of the unique nature by which Typhon does what he does, it affords a new opportunity for them to explore a completely different genre of video games. And think of the developers of old. Westwood was really good at making real-time strategy games. And then one day Westwood said, hey, let's make a first-person shooter. And it was one of the best first-person shooters of all time that almost none of you have played. It was Command & Conquer Renegade, for those of you who don't know. But they took a risk and it paid off. Maxis was making sim game on sim game on sim game on sim game. And then one day they were like, hey, what if we made a simulation game where you actually flew a helicopter? And they made Simcopter. Was it good? It was all right. But I was also like, and so, my quality of gaming was like new Nintendo games and also Simcopter and Streets of SimCity. But the point is they had an idea, they had their genre, and then they tried something new. Blizzard's the third example. They had Diablo, they had Warcraft, they have Overwatch now. They have all these different games. They're all across these different genres. Gearbox is good enough, they are talented enough, and they're clever enough to create a game outside of that normal looter shooter genre and still explore the Borderlands universe. That's what I believe anyway. So I'd love to see them rise to that challenge somehow and produce a game like the Typhon de Leon platformer game. And it gives us more Borderlands in a new cool way and opens people to a new genre of gameplay that they might not normally partake in. So that's just how I feel about that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like Gearbox is capable of so much, and 2K is absolutely capable of so much. And the Borderlands franchise and how they move it forward together is so cool. And I agree with you. A platformer would be fun. It would just be fun. I mean, they're branching out with the movie, right? They're branching out with the really, really amazing D&D game, like the pen and paper D&D game, Bunkers and Badasses, that's coming by Nerdvana Games, which is it's basically like working with Gearbox, part of Gearbox, kind of. They're doing that, so that's a complete departure, and it's so exciting because I love tabletop RPG stuff. I'm so psyched to see that, but I would love more traditional video game stuff. Personally, I want to see them do more VR because there is something about being in the world of the Borderlands. The Borderlands 2 VR experience has been incredible. And now so many people have their hands on VR because of the Quest 2. And it's just becoming a much more widespread platform. And I'm really happy to see that because I just love the idea of getting up and physically moving in video games, sitting down or even just standing at my desk and playing games is amazing and I love it. But I love feeling immersed in this incredible world that they've created with this franchise and existing in that physically almost in VR. Just it really is an incredible thing, and I feel like the growth of the platform in general with the Quest and I think there's some rumors that HTC is working on a new headset. There's a couple of new headsets that have been rumored / definite things in the last 6 months or so. So I would love to see them do another VR game, whether it be a port of Borderlands 3 or your platformer idea. platformers in VR exist. They're a challenge. But they do exist, and I feel like there's a really cool way that you could make that work. The whole like whip thing, that would be so fun in VR, and it would just be an amazing thing to be in VR in the Borderlands universe again, for like another adventure, right? I'm still working on that one, but yeah, it would just be cool, and I absolutely have faith that they could do a good job with it because they did such a good job with that initial port. Like, they were, like I said, they were one of the first AAA studios to actually put in the effort to port a game, and they did a really good job. Like, I've played a lot of VR games, and that is one of my favorites. It really is well done, especially for when they did it. Like, games that come out in the last year or 6 months or however long, they've had all of this like backlog of other developers to kind of learn from and things like that. They were one of the first, and they did a great job. I know they could do an incredible job with another game, whether it be something specifically for VR or a port. Either way, it'd be neat. I want to see them branch out too.
They merge with Embracer. This is the time.
Yeah.
They can bring on the people. They have the resources available. I should, I say that, but resources are finite when it comes to these kinds of things. What you would have for, Borderlands 4 or whatever comes next in the Borderlands project in the mainline series. Well, if you're developing something else like a Typhon Leon game, you've either got to bring on a whole bunch more people, which is going to cost a whole bunch more money, and get them all set up with everything they need, or you're going to have to siphon people off from those mainline projects and work on these side projects. But the one thing that's nice about the Embracer deal is that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So hopefully it can allow them to work on some cool projects like that.
Yeah, it opens up so many possibilities. And there's 2 ideas in chat that I really love. I just want to point out. Bad Karma mentioned an animated series in the Borderlands universe that they would get the Telltale writers to help with or work on. That would be freaking incredible. Like, oh my god, yes, please. And Solaire in chat mentioned Borderlands Legos, which,
oh boy,
oh my god, I would love that. I would love that so much. So like, I don't know about you, Mitsu, if you got to play with Legos when you were a kid.
Okay, so I played a very small amount with Legos. Most of my time was spent with video games, unsurprisingly, or like I think I did Micro Machines and Hot Wheels. I think I had a bunch of those cool places. Like I made the whole town. I had like the car wash and all those cool little things. But we didn't really have the room, and Lego sets were expensive, dude. Lego sets, especially the good ones, they're real expensive. If you don't have the room after, let's say I built a Death Star, where am I gonna put that thing? Like where's that gonna go?
Yeah.
So but a Lego Borderlands game,
yeah. I never got to play with Legos as a kid just because I moved from another country when I was little, and I was lucky to have one Barbie growing up, and that was like a thing. It was like a really big deal because I never had that stuff, which is fine. Like, it's fine. I didn't even get to play video games until I was in college. I'm very happy that like I get to do all this cool stuff now. And actually with Legos, since I didn't try it at all as a kid, there was like a couple of years ago, Rob and I got to talking about it, and he's like, we should just go. There's like a Lego store where I live. We should just go and like pick something and then just bring it home and play with it. And it was so fun. He knew I would like it because I love putting together PCs, and those are kind of like mini technical Legos, and you get a really cool working machine that plays video games at the end. And also I love building IKEA furniture, which is literally just big Legos for adults. I love doing that
familiar
stuff.
with the Kallax.
Yes. Hello.
Is that a Kallax?
Yes.
Oh my god.
This might be the Expedit, but I have Kallax
only
too.
appeals to 20 and 30 somethings who are like on a very low tight budget. That's who this show is now for.
I want to say like 98% of the furniture in my apartment is like maybe like 97 because my desk is not, and 98% of my furniture is IKEA. I love it. So yeah, Lego is really cool, and they should do like a Borderlands IKEA thing. That would be cool.
Lego games have a very unique humor style to them that I think would resonate really well with the Borderlands franchise and series. So if they actually made it, I think it would fit right in. It'd be really cool to say, like, you Lego brick just smashing everything to bits, running through walls and stuff like that, and everything just shatters around him. It'd be really fun. I think that'd be a really fun series of games.
Yeah, I would, yeah, that would be, I would definitely play those. And yeah, there's just so many possibilities. The merchandising crew that already works with Borderlands is actually really amazing. The person that runs that is super cool.
Oh, who's that? Erica?
Erica, yeah.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
I need to bother her though. I still want scarves. I still want my Borderlands scarves.
Yeah, I need to bother her about so many things. But she's just
amazing.
really, yeah, she's amazing. Yeah. They've done some really cool things. I don't know if you guys can see the little.
This is a visual for everybody.
Yeah. So
what is that?
It's a Maya ducky.
Oh, I remember the Maya ducky.
Yeah. It's a little rubber ducky, like the kind you have floating in your bathtub when you're a kid or an adult, because why the heck not? And it literally is a little ducky with like Maya's hair and her outfit and her like hood and coat from Borderlands 3. And it's so cute. It's like the cutest thing ever in the world. And it always sits in the background of my like video window that you guys see, because Maya's my favorite. I don't know if you guys
Maya Ducky,
knew that.
you're
Yeah.
everyone. You make bath time lots of fun.
Yeah. Even if one of my very first mod and very first sub on Twitch was a wonderful person named Rama, who unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago. But he was one of the people that like encouraged me to stream and always supported me and was just a really, really good friend. And he loved duckies. And he actually sent me a whole box of duckies once upon a time. And it was really cute. And he would have loved this. And I would have gotten her anyway, even if I like had never known him. But it was actually another one of my mods, Frijoles, who is also incredible and who I adore, who sent me this. And she's so cute. I love her.
That is wonderful, though.
I think you
such a
can
cool one.
still get these, by the way. They have duckies for a lot of the characters, not just Maya. I believe they're on store.2k.com, I think.
Store.2k.com. Sorry, I had to get it in there again just for the reiteration of the plug. That's what you're supposed to do, I think. I don't know. I don't actually know how any of this works at all. There's so much to look forward to when it comes to Borderlands. I really, we're in this holding pattern, and I really can't wait to see what April brings for Borderlands, because DLC 6, I feel like I know some people are a little miffed because they're like, oh, it's just a rainbow. Oh, it's just this. We had an interview. I actually don't know how much I can say about this particular. I can't say obviously anything in the interview yet, but I don't know if we can talk about the interviewee. I think we can.
I don't know. I don't know
Only
for sure. I don't know. Can we?
Nobody said we couldn't. So, but we're not saying what's in the interview. So I'm just going to say this, because we're going to build this up for next week, and this is how we're going to close out today's show. Because we should leave the people with a tease for why you should tune in next week. And here's the tease. Graham is going to be back on the show. We had a wonderful interview that we recently did with Graham Timmons. Once again, he was kind enough to grace us with his presence. And oh boy, the conversation that we had with him, you're not going to want to miss next week. You're not. Because there's some stuff like, you gotta wait. That's it. That's all. You know what? I can't even say anything else.
Yeah.
It's just really good. It's just really good. It pertains to DLC 6, and that is the only bit I will give you about it. So if you're interested in what is to come with DLC 6 and you want to be the first to know, you're going to want to tune in next week to the Bordercast. Tess and I had a really great conversation with him.
Yeah, it's going to be so good. You guys are going to love it. Seriously. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for people to A, see the interview, and B, get their hands on what we talk about in the interview.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm being really
some
mean.
of the additional things that we found out about, too, one of which left me speechless.
Yeah, okay,
That's
now
okay.
we're just being mean. Now we're just being mean.
I know.
next week on the Bordercast at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on Thursday the 25th. We're so excited. We're so excited, you guys. Seriously, thank you, Mitsu, for being so much fun. He's over there.
Oh yeah, you're over here. Wait, you're over this way. That
Directions
way.
are hard.
This way. This way.
Thank you to my incredible co-host Mitsu for being a very good tease to all of you, and also just being really fun and amazing. And you guys are all amazing. Thank you to everyone watching. If you're watching on Facebook, on Steam, thank you so much. YouTube, thank you so much. Twitch, thank you so much. You guys are all incredible. Thank you to all of our listeners on Spotify. There's a ton of you on Spotify. It's crazy. SoundCloud. Huge amount on SoundCloud, iTunes, TuneIn, YouTube Music, and Stitcher. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. You can join us live on Twitch every Thursday, usually at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific. Next one is the big one with the cool interview. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. If you would like to subscribe on YouTube, if you'd like to hit that follow button, get notifications going on all those platforms, we appreciate it so much. If you hit those likes, it helps us out a lot. It really does. So thank you. Thank you for hanging out and having a conversation with us today. We appreciate it.
Indeed, it's so nice to be able to talk with everybody. And in the spirit of what I had a chance to do yesterday, streaming, of course, with Brofish, I felt like it was time to actually have talk with people again, because that's what it's all about. We would not be here without you guys. That is the God's honest truth. You are the reason we get to do this every single week. Which I guess I said that a little early, so maybe I'll just do the rest of the tagline, and we will see you next week. So on behalf of Tess, myself, and the entire content creation team, thank you so much for joining us as you every single week. See, now I repeated it. Now go forth and make some mayhem.